All right, we're rolling. Okay, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video. I really just don't have an opening line, so we're going with that today. But anyway, let me just hop right into it. It's me, Zainab. And then I think to myself, that's really rhetorical because if you're here on this channel, you know it's me, Zainab. But anyway, today I want to talk about safe spaces and just setting up boundaries with yourself and making sure that you're going where you're being honored, where you're being celebrated, and where you are safe. So I know exactly what prompted this. So what prompted this video was I was watching another creator's video and they were talking about a person who shall not be named on this channel, that women voluntarily go on this person's show and allow this person to critique them, which that part I don't necessarily have so much of an issue with. But where I take umbrage and where I have the issue is that when they're on this show and they know that when they're going on this person's show that this person is going to be speaking to them in a violent way, he's going to cut them off, he's going to belittle them, because it's one thing to critique a person and it's another thing to just take all the low blows that you can take. He has sound effects of like slapping a person and just all kinds of crazy like violent acts. And I remember when I was watching this particular person's YouTube video and I was like, I started to think to myself, what in the world makes these women voluntarily go on this person's show knowing that it's an unsafe space, that they're going to be talked to horribly, they're probably going to be traumatized, and who knows whatever else. And I thought about when I was younger and people who I thought were my friends and how I kept going back to those unsafe spaces. Now at the time I didn't really realize that they were unsafe spaces. I just would make excuses for people, like if they make snide remarks about me, or if they seem like they're in competition with me, or if it seemed like whatever I said or whatever I did, or if I was just being myself, it was always a problem. And I didn't have, I don't know whether it was the knowledge, the experience, the emotional intelligence, or I really don't know exactly what the word is. It could be a combination of all those things to know and to understand that, well, number one, I had a choice on whether or not I could tongue-tied. I had a choice on whether or not to spend my time, I forgot my microphone, with those people or not. I had a choice to set boundaries with people or not. And honestly, I didn't know anything about boundaries. I did not know the word boundaries when it came to interpersonal relationships or anything, friendships, romantic relationships, or anything. I had no earthly idea. So that really wasn't on my mind. But I know what it feels like, when you are with people and you think that these people are your friends and you're like, oh yes, we're gonna go hang out, and they're having side conversations with other people in the group, or you can tell that they've got something to say about you negatively, or if you say or do something and you're just being yourself, they have some type of snide remark, and just like always throwing shade, as we say. Well, honey, I don't know if people say that anymore or not, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. So I was just like, so when I thought about those women, I really couldn't judge, because I know that a lot of times the trauma that we've experienced as children, the experiences that we have, the lack of education, the lack of instruction when we're growing up, and nobody even took the time to tell you what a healthy friendship is, what a healthy romantic relationship is, that you have choices and you don't have to just let people treat you any kind of way, that it's not automatic that there's some type of loyalty there because you may have known someone since you were in pre-K, but that you can decide whether or not something is good for you, and you can either remove it or remove yourself from it. And so it's kind of like realizing that you have the power to shape your life, you have the power to shape your relationships, and you have the right to dwell in safe spaces. And so my question today is, are you dwelling in safe spaces? And if you're not dwelling in safe spaces, why do you continue to go into unsafe spaces? And I know that, this may be the first time that you've been made aware that some of the situations and scenarios that you've been in and some of the relationships that you're in, that you even realize that it's not healthy, it's not safe for you. And when I talk about safety in relationships, I'm talking about, if I tell you something in confidence and you say that you're my friend and you're going to keep it in confidence, I don't find out later that you have told 15 other people, your mutual friends, and then I find out that you have told my private business. Here I am thinking that you're my friend and I was confiding in you. That's not a safe space. If I can't be myself fully and be accepted for who I am, love and accepted for who I am, and I have to contort myself, I have to change my behavior, I have to change my vocabulary, I can't celebrate my wins with you, because if I am fully honest about the achievements that I'm making in my life, then I'm getting hate from other people, even though my achievements have nothing to do with the person that you're sharing it with. Because you would think that if you're in relationships with people, with their friends, family members, or significant others, that I'm in a relationship with this person. And a lot of times the way that we feel about people and the way that we interact with people, we expect them to interact and feel the same way about us. But unfortunately, that's not always the truth. And this video isn't to be like, oh, be suspicious of everybody. It's just simply to make you aware. It's simply to make you to take stock of the relationships that you're in. And that if you think about the relationships that you're in, if you think about how you feel, because you should feel good after you leave the people that you spend time with. Our time is precious, and everybody doesn't deserve our time. And, it's not something just to be thrown around and for people just to take advantage of. And, everybody deserves to be treated well. Everybody deserves to be respected and to be loved. And if you are not in those type of spaces or in relationships with those type of people, then this is your opportunity to look for your people, because there are billions of people all over the world, and what you're interested in and the things that make you tick and excite you in life and whatever it is, there are other people in the world that are interested in those things. There are other people in the world that want to have conversations with you about those things. There are people all over the world that the things that other people might think that may deem to be weird or quirky or whatever the case, that they'll love those things about. They love all of your quirkiness. They love your eccentric style. They love your taste in music. They're very interested in, the things that you're interested in. And so, just kind of wanting us to be aware and not like force ourselves to be in spaces with people because we may have known them a long time, but they're not treating us well. Being in relationships with people, I always say relationships with quotation mark, because I say that because when I think back when I was younger and who I am now, and I think back to what I thought was a healthy friendship or a healthy romantic relationship, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, you know what? I had no idea that really wasn't a healthy relationship. That really wasn't a friendship, or it was a one-sided friendship, or it was toxic, or whatever the case may be. So, it's like when you look back, you can learn from the mistakes that you made. And so, one other thing is, if you're in what I said, a one-sided relationship, it's like, that's not a safe space. If you're the one always paying for things, if you're the one that's always, celebrating other people, and you're never being celebrated, that's not fair. That's not how relationships should work. They should be mutually beneficial. It should be give and take. It shouldn't always be that you're the one that's a listening ear whenever someone they want to vent or have some type of issue going on. And that's what friends do that for each other. But then when you have an issue, or you need a shoulder to cry on, or you need to talk about something, they're nowhere to be found, or they immediately dismiss you, or they say that your feelings are not valid. So those are the types of things that I'm talking about. So I really just wanted to kind of pose that question and put it out there so that we could just kind of take stock of the kinds of relationships and the kinds of spaces that we frequent. And if we constantly find ourselves in spaces where we're not appreciated, we're not celebrated, we're not loved and accepted for who we are, why do we keep going back? It's like, what's going on? I'm going to use myself as an example. Like, Zainab, what's going on with you that you keep going and hanging out with this group of mean girls, and you know that they're going to make fun of you or make snide remarks about you, talk about the way you dress or the way you talk, or have all kinds of shady comments to say, but you keep going back. So I would have to take an assessment of myself and say, what is it in me that's going on within me? What needs to be healed in me? What needs to be repaired in me that keeps me going back to places that are not good for me? And that's really where I'm going to leave it. It's like, it's like we have to explore what's going on with us and, ask God, what is it that I need to do? Where are my people? Where are my true friends? And what do I need to do to start my process of healing, to start my journey of healing, so that I can have the best life that I could possibly have a great life, have great friends, have great relationships, be celebrated and accepted for who I am. So that's really all I had to say. And so until next time, take care.